Hello, thank you for joining us today. My name is Dick. I'm the Director of Dealer Development, and I'm here with Tom Kelly. We're going to take you through the webinar today, which will take roughly 25 minutes, and our objective is to give you enough information to determine whether our Be Safe Dealer program will be a fit for your company. And the webinar gives us the opportunity to get you the most amount of information in the shortest amount of time. We're going to explore some trends that could have an impact on your company in the near future and review the practicality of adopting these new services to address those trends. I believe the first question we're answering today is not if, but when. When are my clients going to start asking, what's my company doing for the environment, and more importantly, how are we going to respond? On a per acre basis, residential lawns and gardens receive 10 times as much chemical applications than agriculture. Over 70 million pounds of chemical fertilizer and pesticides are applied to households in the U.S. yearly. With Canada having passed several pesticide laws over the last 10 years, several states along with municipalities across the country have passed legislation banning the use of certain chemical fertilizers and pesticides. Many other states are on the verge of passing similar laws. How will this kind of regulation affect your business? You see, it's not really a question of if, it's a question of when. 15 years ago, Blockbuster was the 800-pound gorilla in its marketplace. Today, they're practically non-existent. Netflix, a no-name startup, through innovative thinking, changed the movie rental business forever. What Blockbuster found out was that brand loyalty ran a distant second to convenience, and the industry that they had once dominated had changed. In his book, Purple Cow, Godin describes a world like you're driving through farm country and seeing pastures of cows. Once you've seen one cow, you've seen 100. If we look at our industry and we're being honest, I'm sure we can agree there's very little differentiation between companies. The difference between ABC Lawn Service and XYZ Land Care is subjective at best. The second question we want to help you answer today is, can NTI and a Be Safe Land Care program help you stay ahead of the trends and help you capitalize on them in the market? NTI is the fastest growing network of residential service contractors in North America, with 200 companies anticipated in joining our network by the fourth quarter of next year. We're aiming at creating a global model for organic land management, and our organic lawn program focuses on 5 key areas. The first program is of our lawn care system, which includes a group of third-generation result-effective products. This also includes our patent-pending 6-step application process, which was developed by Tom Kelly. The second piece of our program is a natural and organic pest control, controlling things like mosquitoes, chinch bugs, grubs, and so on. The third piece is our organic tree and shrub program. We've got a 5-step program focusing solely on trees, shrubs, and ornamentals. Fourth, we have a stormwater management program using stormwater and gray water in a cyclical and renewable way. We have a patented product called HydroCore, which prevents hazardous runoff while recharging the aquifer. And lastly is resource efficiency, upgrading existing irrigation systems, reducing water waste, and different ways to consult consumers and customers on how to make their properties more resource efficient. Of the 115 million households in the U.S., it's estimated that 78 million cosmetically treat their properties. Today, it's estimated that only 3% of those are treating their properties through an organic method. By partnering with companies like yourself, we feel that we can capture a significant share of the chemical market. All of this starts with soil biology. Let's take a look.
An industry-first 6-step patent-pending lawn care system that eliminates the guesswork and confusion associated with implementing the organic program. Our goal is to simplify and standardize organic lawn treatments, making it easy for you and affordable for your customers. The challenge was properly balancing microbial population and activity in the soil with optimal nutrient cycle capacity. The result was an industry-unique group of second-generation products that address all 3 critical areas of soil biology and plant health. These advances created a comprehensive system that allows turf to reach its full
Now, why has the green industry been so slow to adopt sustainable practices? And I've personally had the opportunity to work with hundreds of lawn and land care contractors, and I've watched firsthand companies struggling with economic pressures of the current recession, and really failed to react to changes in the marketplace. The Blockbuster resisted change and felt their market position and brand equity would insulate them from the competition. But what changes have happened in your marketplace, and how has that affected your business? Dave is the president of a small landscape company in the Midwest. Dave started his company in the mid-90s with a small loan and some basic equipment. By 2007, Dave's company had grown to servicing 2,000 residential accounts, close to $2 million in gross sales. Unfortunately, the way the economy has been over the last several years, Dave's had to lay off several key people, and his overall revenue and profit are way down. Last year, Dave struggled to service 1,100 accounts, grossing just under $1 million, and had to reduce his staff by over 50%. Economists are saying that discretionary spending and demand for residential services are down 40 to 50% from the mid-2000s. 1 out of every 4.3 incorporated home service companies either dissolved or failed to file for corporate status. That means over 20% of our industry was ineffective in navigating through the changes in the economy. Now, most likely, the threats to your business have increased dramatically too. Like Dave, you probably have some concerns about the future through unlicensed competitors and the commoditization typical in our industry. Products and services are being offered to the same pool of customers. Things like cost cutting and doing the work for cost just to keep a crew busy is becoming a lot more common nowadays. For Dave, unable to match the lowball pricing, he watched his once loyal client base opt to go for a lower direction. How has the economy impacted your marketplace? We see some bigger challenges on the horizon. Tom, who I'm sitting here with today, he was asked to testify in front of New Hampshire and Maine legislation earlier this year on a bill banning pesticides for cosmetic purposes on school grounds. Recent studies have brought into question the potential risks associated with conventional lawn and landscape chemicals. In the U.S., we're being confronted with several environmental challenges: pollution of drinking water, an epidemic of dead zones, for example, the Chesapeake Bay, and up here we have the Great Bay, a decrease in the population of various species such as birds and fish and bees, aquifer depletion. As responsible business owners, what are we doing to protect our natural resources and secure the future? Last year, Blockbuster filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, seeking protection from almost $1 million in debt. Like Blockbuster, companies that are late to identify consumer trends quickly become dinosaurs of their industry. The business case for adopting sustainable services is crystal clear. Environmental concern is on the rise across America. More and more people are including regard for the environment in their buying habits. These trends are moving way beyond consumables and reaching all segments of the market. This is illustrated by growing consumer demand for things like organic produce. Organizations such as Whole Foods and Trader Joe's have grown at double-digit rates over the past decade. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the demand for organic farming is going to increase 35% a year per year right through 2020. Sustainable business is nothing new. It's happening in all industries. The landscape and lawn care industries are just several years behind other segments of the residential services. LEED certification is the most sought-after accreditation for building companies today, and energy auditing has become the fastest-growing category of home services. Homeowners are looking for ways to make their homes more energy efficient. I guess the message we want to impress upon you is that there's a wave forming, and consumer expectations are changing. Today, there are literally hundreds of environmental groups that are working with states to pass new legislation. These types of requests are becoming more and more frequent, and some of the chemicals that Tom used in his earlier days and part of his career have been pulled off the shelf, and safety concerns. Well, why does this matter to you? In 2005, Tom, who I'm sitting with here today, was confronted with a similar question. At the time, he was operating the largest privately held lawn care company in the Northeast, and a number of his clients had been asking him about organic alternatives. So I guess, Tom, this led to your selling the interest in your company, but if you could expand on that a little bit and go over your background and why you launched the Be Safe program.
Yeah, thanks, Dick. I've been in the lawn care industry since the week I graduated from college in 1993. And what was supposed to be a summer job for me at a company called Barefoot Grass, it actually turned into a career for me. I worked for Barefoot for a few years, and then I started my own business that my partners and I called Lawn Dog. And Lawn Dog became a very successful chemical lawn care service that we had built up to close to 20,000 customers and 7 branches. We did very well, but over the years I began to understand that there was a better way to create healthy turf than using large amounts of chemical pesticides and synthetic fertilizers. After 13 years in business, we sold Lawn Dog, and I set out to try to change the way we treat our lawns under a new brand, Firebelly Organic Lawn Care.
And Tom, initially, that was a consumer-grade product, do-it-yourself under the Lawn in the Box program, right?
Yeah, I had invented a 6-step, completely organic lawn care program. Much of it was based on newer techniques that were being used in commercial organic agriculture. And my goal was really to simplify the process for the consumer who wanted to treat their lawn without the use of chemicals. The problem was that there were so many new products out there, and many of them claimed to be organic and natural. It was a nightmare to figure out what exactly to do and when to do it, and that's where the simplification of the Lawn in a Box came into play. Not only did it simplify the entire process for people, but it was affordable and it actually worked. At first it was only available online, but the demand grew and we entered the retail market with it.
Okay. So shortly after your first year, you experienced pretty significant growth. Going into that following year, you had developed some affiliations and relationships, which led to getting a lot more exposure, and the do-it-yourself version really started to take off.
Yeah, that's right. The second year in business, we were featured on the Martha Stewart Show. We were on Good Morning America. I think I actually underestimated how much the American public was really beginning to lean towards organic methods with their lawns and their desire to reduce and eliminate chemicals and pesticides. The demand was through the roof, and we really started to gain some national notoriety. We had an incredible year based on just trying to meet the demand as opposed to trying to create the demand.
Okay. Maybe you could talk a little bit about the commercial side. What was the tipping point that led you to consider starting a commercial grade program, and what was the process that led up to it?
Yeah, over the years it's become pretty obvious to me that the number of people who treat their lawns themselves and the number of people who hire a company to do it for them is split just about 50-50. The two markets are essentially almost equal. They're very separate from each other. We had sold a little bit of product to some local landscapers, but I certainly didn't expect the demand to be what it was from other lawn and landscape companies. We started to take lots of calls at Firebelly from consumers who were looking for a service that provides lawn care based on the type of natural inputs that we use. We didn't have anywhere to point them, so we decided to make it a big part of our business model moving forward. We developed a line of commercial grade products. We started to look for a partner that could help us introduce the program to lawn and landscape companies on a national basis. Based on the demand for the products, I was able to partner with Natural Technologies, and that's when we created the Be Safe dealer concept.
So NTI provided the resources to develop the land care program and pursue the commercial market on a larger scale. Can you talk a little bit about the Be Safe dealer program?
Yeah, sure. The Be Safe dealer model is specifically designed for companies who are forward-thinking enough to understand that they can grow their business significantly by getting involved with a truly organic option in turf care. We typically deal with companies that are already servicing a client base, doing chemical lawn care. and they want to begin to offer an organic option, or sometimes they want to begin to transition their entire customer base over. The second type of firm we deal with is one that's already in the service industry or perhaps landscape maintenance or construction, and there they want to take advantage of the surging demand for organic land care services. For the most part, the Be Safe model revolves around three specific segments. The first is naturally the program and our products. We have patent pending process that's totally proprietary, and it's really like nothing else in the industry. We call it second generation organics, but at this point I think it's probably third or fourth generation. We give our dealers the technology to provide organic land care that's cost competitive, and it actually works. In fact, it usually works better than chemical lawn care. The second is branding. Our dealers take on the Be Safe brand in all of their marketing and production efforts. We provide them with the sales collateral and everything they need to do to brand their existing business as a Be Safe organic land care company. We offer substantial training, not only on the product and the agronomic side, but on the operational side as well. Having run a business with more than 100 employees, I can help our dealers avoid many of the pitfalls that they're going to encounter. And finally, the third segment is all about business development. By offering a protected territory, helping our dealers reach their potential client base, we can really push significant growth for them, and we can do it relatively quickly. We have ongoing marketing support. We work with all of our dealers on exactly how to come in contact with the people who are looking for the services that they provide.
Great, thanks, Tom. I guess this is a good segue to start talking about the Be Safe dealer program and the brand itself. Be Safe is a brand that we launched last year. It's designed for commercial providers, and we spent a lot of time developing the brand and the platform. The goal is to give companies like yourself a way to plug into a turnkey system, so you don't have to go out and research the products. When it comes to the product, we've already done the trial. We've done the trial and error for you. The focus of our company and the program is really based on the business development. We're pretty specific with the companies that we want to work with. We want companies that are focused on growth. There's a lot of business development tools that we've incorporated into this, but one of the biggest things I guess we'll talk about is Tom's experience in running a company and servicing roughly 20,000 clients. Tom has a lot to share and contribute to a business that's growing and servicing, and maybe they're only doing a couple thousand accounts now, but they want to get to that next step. So again, part of this, things like brochures, you don't have to develop any of that stuff. We have customizable brochures. Here's a couple samples on the screen for you to take a look at. We can add your logo to the brochures. It's very easy and very user-friendly. It's turnkey. We have everything from in-home sales folders, promotional packages, promotional materials, door hangers. So anything that you need in regards to printed collateral, we've already done this for you. And these have all been professionally designed, and they're all templated. We also have a website program. We want all of our dealers to have a website that's dedicated to organic and sustainable land care. Having a website that's relevant, keyword searchable, search engine optimized, so consumers can find you, and that's important to us. So everybody that becomes a dealer gets a website. It's included in the package. Branding. We've spent a lot of time researching and developing our brand. We wanted to make sure that we got the branding just right, from the colors to the logo. It's important for us to have a brand that sticks out in people's minds. Right now, our network should grow to 200 dealers by the end of 2012. The reason we put so much emphasis on the brand is that research tells us a consumer will pay more for brands that they know, and they're 10 times more likely to go with a company if they're familiar with the brand. Part of this, becoming a dealer, is the educational portion. There's a lot of confusion in the marketplace and how to treat a property organically. So what we've done is developed a 3-day training program through our Organic Land Care Institute. And let's face it, guys, the word organic is a great buzzword, but it also gets kind of a bad rap too. Consumers think it's either too expensive or it doesn't work. And you know what? There was some truth to that in the first generation of products that hit the market, but we're already on our 3rd generation of the product. So between the product and the system, we've got something that works and something that's affordable. We've brought in several different professionals who act as professors at the Land Care Institute. We've been fortunate to have Chip Osborne as one of our trainers, which is great. For those of you familiar with Chip, you know that he won't formally endorse any products in the market, but just having him as a guest trainer is almost an endorsement within itself. We will teach you everything from the agronomics to the application of the products to how to promote it and create awareness in your marketplace. The other key component that I referenced earlier is the relationship. We have a full-time support staff that's headed up by Tom and his team, and really the relationship is key. When you start offering this and developing your own organic lawn care side of your business, having someone that you can go to who can advise you on what to do and what not to do can save you a lot of expensive mistakes and headaches. We also have ongoing education through online modules, things that focus on different aspects of organic lawn care, but also things like how to be more effective at promoting, how to leverage the seasons, how to segue with other services, and how to increase your profit per customer. And this is done throughout the course of the year, typically once or twice a quarter. Based on our dealer model, the dealer investment is $14,900. This will allow you to protect and grow your area. And the one thing I want to point out is that we don't sell our products to anyone outside of the dealer network. It's not our goal to make this product a commodity. If we wanted to do that, we could have sold it to John Deere and Lesco years ago. We think rather than doing that, we prefer to channel our products through companies like yours, where we can properly penetrate the market through companies that we've trained on the how and the why our product works and the system works. Dealer qualifications. We work with existing companies. We typically don't work with startups. Companies that are looking to grow and have the capacity to grow. Companies that are focused on gaining market share and have the ability to work the program on a best effort basis and have the commitment to sustainability. So one of the things that we always get asked about the investment is, what's the potential for the return or the ROI on the investment? One of the things that we've done is we've created goals for you to hit. We feel that every company that we bring into the network can capture at least 0.5% market share. That's 0.5%. These are our minimum expectations. But if you're crushing it and hitting your benchmarks within the first 24 months, you could recoup your entire investment via a product credit. So again, our goal is to have this be a mutual relationship, and we've put a lot of skin in the game, and our expectation is that you're going to be committed to this as well. As a key theme in his book, Godin proposes that to be remarkable in business, you need to create things worth noticing. Like a purple cow is unusual, remarkable businesses differentiate and command your attention. I'd like to share with you a quick story of a company that I've personally worked with, and Chris just recently joined our Be Safe Dealer Network. He's the president of the largest residential landscape company in Delaware. Chris started his business as a teenager mowing lawns, probably a lot like some of you guys here on the webinar today. But when the economy started to tank a few years ago, Chris decided to differentiate himself in the market. Over the past few years, Chris expanded into businesses such as basement waterproofing, outdoor and seasonal lighting, decorative hardscapes. While many of his competitors had to scale back, Chris and his company grew during the recession. A few years ago, Chris had explored diversifying into organic lawn care, but he was unable to find any viable resources, so he decided to put it on the back burner. Chris is always looking for ways to improve and grow his company. Differentiation and taking on things that his competitors are too scared to do. With the plan that Chris is putting together this winter, he's planning on treating between 750 and 1,000 customers organically in his first full season as a Be Safe dealer. What could your year look like next year? How many customers could you attract? Most likely many of you are familiar with the story of the two shoe salesmen that were sent to Africa by a British shoe manufacturer in the early 1900s. When they arrived, they were instructed to advise whether there was any opportunity for selling shoes. Shortly after arriving, the first shoe salesman reported back, "Situation hopeless. They don't wear any shoes." A couple days later, the second shoe salesman reported back. Massive opportunity. They don't have any shoes. Which of these perspectives defines your business? Early adopters that move towards sustainability and organic practices today are going to be the market leaders tomorrow. Natural Technologies believes we can help you expand into these new markets. And with that being said, I'm going to unmute the call, open it up for Q&A. Hopefully you've jotted down some great questions. So feel free to fire away with any questions that you have.